So to begin, do you mind telling us a bit about yourself and why you have things to say about the job hiring process and interviewing candidates and things like that?
Well, prior to becoming a graduate student at Western, I actually spent 30 years or 32 years in a professional career in IT and business. I was working in banking and finance, and then for the last 10 years of my career, I was actually CIO or head of IT at Western University. And as a part of that, I guess my professional role, I was involved in a lot of hiring. Trying to get access to good people is always a challenge, no matter what business you work in, what environments you work in. So, sort of had a lot of experience hiring people as well as applying for jobs myself.
So can you tell us a bit about what that for on your side of the table, what the hiring process is like when you're looking at a bunch of candidates?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind when I reflect on the hiring process, and I always used to try to tell myself and my teams when we were looking for people, is the recruiting process is stressful. It's stressful for the individuals who are applying for the jobs, but it's also stressful for the companies and the organizations that are trying to do the hiring. And because getting the right fit is the right mix of skills and interpersonal skills and technical skills to match the requirements of the job is it's hard, and it's a decision that you want to get right. So it is stressful. It's stressful for the applicant. It's stressful for the hiring folks. And so there's a couple of things that I always carried inside myself when I looked at degrees. I feel like degrees do matter, and I was interested in what kind of degree, where from. But I really wasn't hiring degrees. I was hiring people. And it's actually, as I get into the interview, it's what does the degree actually help me understand about the person? What attributes do they bring? Because one of the things that the hiring process is, you're hiring for a job as it exists today, or as you can articulate a job or a role today. But the world we live in and the work we do is changing so constantly and so consistently, and in fact so rapidly, that part of it is actually understanding a person's capacity to deal with change, to be able to evolve as the role evolves and as the workplace evolves. That becomes an important dimension to the hiring process, because things are going to change. So looking for adaptability and resilience and the ability to learn on the fly, those sorts of things.
Last few years, any thoughts about what, if any, advantage of background in anthropology might bring to these students?
One of the things that I think one of the skills, having been a computer science, math student initially for, most of my career, one of the things that I think anthropology, the discipline of anthropology, has created for me, and I think it benefits the students that study it, is that anthropology, because of its nature, we always talk about a holistic viewpoint, and being able to look at subjects from a variety of perspectives, and to be able to appreciate, I guess in a non-judgmental way, different viewpoints. I think that is important, and because it speaks to the ability to deal with ambiguity. Many things in anthropology are not clearly one or the other. they're somewhere in between, and it becomes a matter of appreciating different perspectives, being able to deal with ambiguity, and to be able to, what I think falls out of that, being able to look holistically at a situation, be able to appreciate different perspectives and the ambiguity that can arise because of those different perspectives. But what falls out of it is actually an ability to communicate, both in writing and verbally, in ways that can actually unpack different perspectives, appreciate different perspectives, communicate, clearly that this is why I think this, for these reasons, even though there are these other considerations. So, I think anthropology is a holistic discipline, which enables us to see multiple perspectives, deal with ambiguity, and that can in turn help, with communication and being able to communicate both in writing and verbally and clearly, despite dealing with a lot of ambiguity and a lot of things that are sometimes not clear. I think that the aspect of curiosity, it is inherent in the discipline. And I think actually that translates into practical skills around problem solving. It goes back to the idea of the ambiguity and dealing with ambiguity. A part of curiosity is actually the ability to sort of follow a trailhead and follow maybe a little bit of a cookie trail of information that might even be fragmented and partial. And that is that skill in the workplace. Sometimes things are not just cookie cutter and they're teed up for, sometimes you've actually got to figure out how to do something because it isn't clear or somebody doesn't know how to do it. And therefore, if I'm looking at, I'm looking at back to hiring people, people that can think on their feet, that don't necessarily accept things at face value, but have the capacity to ask questions, to be able to research things, to be able to find answers on their own if necessary, is an invaluable skill in an attribute of a person. And I think in anthropology, I think that curiosity, sometimes that is just a characteristic of the types of students that we have in the program. They're naturally curious, and that curiosity and that willingness to sort of follow a chain of information is part of a problem solving. That translates into being able to solve real world problems where the answers are not yet clear, but to be able to find those answers through following their own curiosity.